Hey everybody, coming to you from an undisclosed location, possibly known as the outside of my house as a helicopter recedes into the distance. It is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, and is the day after Election Day in the United States. Pretty good Election Day, so congratulations to everyone that went out and exercised their right to vote. You need to exercise your right or you're going to lose it, so I'm glad that so many of my fellow Americans did just that yesterday. Wanted to talk to you a little bit today about something else foundational to the question of writing, and this is the question of plot. Last time we talked about characters and about whether rooting for them or not rooting for them makes sense. But today I want to talk a little bit about a slight twist on the plot question, which is whether or not it's okay to use a plot that's been done before. Now, before everyone panics and is just like, what? How dare you? You can't steal plots. You can't take plots away. I'm not talking about theft, okay? But I am talking about whether it is okay to use something, a story that's been told before, while putting your own unique spin on that same story. On some level, and this is just sort of a historical reality, we live in 2025, and the reality is most of the sort of basic stories have been told already at this point, right? We still have the same emotions that we're basically struggling with, even if they manifest in different ways. We still have anger and sadness and disgust and love and grief and all those things that we have struggled with since we began to think as a species, right? So those things remain in place, and the stories, therefore, based on those emotions remain in place as well. There is nothing new under the sun, as it was said. And the second thing is that a lot of these stories that we think of as being astonishingly unique are stories that have really been told before. Shakespeare had not a single original plot. Not one plot of his was original. He took these things from other places, from histories, from other stories, from other concepts. The Hamlet, which told the story of Hamlet before Shakespeare told the story of Hamlet. What made Shakespeare an incredible genius as a writer and a playwright was not the originality of his plots, but the ways in which he executed those plots through the use of his own voice, through the way that he represented his characters, through the way in which he produced the story that he told. And this is the thing that I want to emphasize for you folks too. The reason that we think of stories that we come across that seem so incredibly fresh and new is generally not because the plot is astonishingly fresh and new, but because, again, the way in which they produced that plot, the way that the author wrote things, executed the work on the plot, made it seem unusual and different. And part of that is a function of the fact that they themselves as authors bring their own experiences, their own backgrounds, which they cannot avoid. That comes into their fiction as well, based upon the kind of writers that they are. And that's what I want to encourage you to do as well. Don't be so hung up on, is my plot something brand new that no one has ever done before? Instead, think about, is my plot well executed and does it reflect something about me? If so, you're going to have a good original plot for everyone else too. That's it for me.